Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our program, as well as tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. We're excited to welcome recording artist Phillip Brandon to our program today. Now, Phillip is celebrating this year the release of his project, The Story Begins. We're going to talk to him about that story, what it's been like for him to share it with all of you, and, of course, to be able to see the response to it. One of the singles, though, that's getting a lot of attention is a single called Come On. You all will be hearing that a little bit later, and we'll tell you how you can be able to get the project as well as stay connected with Phillip as well. Phillip, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you so much, Cyrus. I'm so glad to be here.
Hey, man, glad to have you on. And what a year you've been able to have. I mean, since the release of The Story Begins, you've been actually sharing the music and the message of the project with your audience around the world. I mean, what has it been like for you, Phillip, to kind of reflect on how far this project has gone already?
You know, it's funny because it's one of the things that an artist that I really enjoy their work is Richard Marx, and he always said, you know, when you're writing something, you start from a place of kind of like a selfish place. You know, that's where you write from, and then you hope that once you share it, that other people kind of feel what it is that you were feeling when you wrote it. And so it's kind of a surreal experience because, you know, when I'm in the studio and writing it and getting everything to get going, and then to hear people, you know, take a listen to it or see the music video, and they're just bobbing their heads and just having a good time, which is literally what I wanted from the single, just to, you know, feel good music.
Yeah. I want to go back to the beginning for you, Phillip, because I think the story is interesting for our audience who don't know much about your backstory. Talk to us about what it's been like for you to have the idea of doing music and then to be able to see that idea come to reality. When did you first realize that music was that thing you wanted to do?
So it'll probably date back to when I've been singing all my life. You know, my mom, grew up in a house that's full of music. So, but when I went to Morehouse College, I got a chance to sing in the Morehouse College Glee Club. I actually got a partial scholarship to tour and sing with them. And so that kind of gave me the bug of, you know, live performance and saying, oh, this is cool, you know, singing in a new place every night and just, you know, being able to share with different audiences and seeing how they all take it in differently. So it really came from a live performance point of view first. And then also I'm a theater guy, so I've been able to do, you know, all kinds of really, really cool projects. Like I did the national tour of Broadway's The Color Purple a few years back. And then I did The Lion King over in Hong Kong. And so this whole thing of like the theatrical element of just like that instant gratification you get from whether that be good or bad from the audience is just something that really kind of made me see that this is something that I really enjoy, was a true passion project of mine. And so then that is what, you know, went into the actual work and the writing.
Right. And then to be able to, I think the other thing is, as you said, music has been a part of your life for quite some time, and you've kind of been able to keep it all in the family, Phillip, you know, by sharing some of these experiences with your mother in particular. I mean, do you still have those pinch me moments where you kind of think about you've gone from, you know, wanting to do this to now actually doing it on your own?
Absolutely. I want to say, you know, and it may sound a bit dramatic, almost every time I hit the stage, I get at least one time a pinch me moment because I'm like, you know, I have, you know, it's been such a labor of love that I've been just kind of doing and working and saying, hey, even if I didn't get paid for it, I would still love, because I just love music and I love the art. You know, I love that kind of thing about it. So to actually have someone that wants to listen to it, it's so mind-boggling to me every single time when people are like, "Oh, I heard your sing." Oh, you know what really gets me, Cyrus, is when somebody that I didn't personally share it with says, "Oh my God, I heard your single and I loved it," or they write on my social media or something, and I'm like, "Wow, that's a pinch me moment," because I'm like, that's something that you know I created through the spiritual process that I go of, when it comes to writing and stuff, and then someone else was able to garnered something from that, and enough to make them comment about it, which I think is fantastic. So,
right. How important was it for you, Phillip, to make sure that your own musical voice, your own unique voice comes through? I ask you that question because I think for any creative, I think regardless of what people might do out there, there are people that's always going to say, oh, you're the next, Van Gogh, or you're the next Whitney Houston, or you're the next whatever. How important was it for you not to be seen as the next X, Y, or Z, but to be able to be Phillip Brandon and all that meant?
I think it was very important, but I always like to preface that with, I am a big proponent of making sure that you let folks know what are those things that inspire you, because we don't just all of a sudden, but maybe some people do. I don't just all of a sudden just like, all of a sudden I just have all this music in me. Where did it come from?
Yeah.
So I love saying, okay, this is that foundation, right? But then, the other part to that, Cyrus, is the fact that, no one can be me better than me. So just like no one could be Luther better than Luther. So it's one of those things of, there's no, even though these are the foundation, this is the groundwork for where the music has progressed. This is my point of view. This is my story. This is my voice, and so it by nature of that alone, it's going to be different, and it's going to be the unique version of itself. So it is something that is very important, but it's not something that I keep in the forefront of. I need to try to be so different, because by nature of me being me, it will be different. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I have to ask you this question then as a follow-up to that, Phillip. Was it easy for you to embrace your own unique style?
Yeah, I don't know if it was easy. I can't say if it was easy. I know it was a process, because, again, I always say I like to try to when I'm working with my producers or my band, I always say they help me get the crazy out of my head and make it make sense, because a lot of times it's like, I think this sounds cool, but this is what it sounded like in my head, but does that make any musical sense, or is that just me saying this, or you know what I mean? And so It's one of those things of, once you kind of figure out, we did a EP back in 2013, and that was literally me just kind of like saying, okay, this is everything that's in my head, like that. Let's just get that out. That was 5 songs we did back then. So with this particular project, The Story Begins, it's definitely a more cohesive work of what is now my actual sound, and so now I think it's a lot easier to trust that, because now we have found what that sound is.
Gotcha. And I think we're going to definitely talk more about that. And The Story Begins as well. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio dial or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome recording artist Phillip Brandon to our program today. We're talking to Phillip not only about this year for him, but also the release of his project, The Story Begins, that he just mentioned, but also what it's been like for him to share his own unique voice with the world and to be able to see the response. I think even the title in itself says a whole lot. Phillip, The Story Begins. I think, for me, I think, every day is almost like a new chapter. I talk about that a lot on social media, about embracing the new chapter. How was this project a new chapter for you?
Yeah, it's definitely. I wanted, when I came up with the concept, The Story Begins, I wanted it to be a double entendre of sorts, right? So I wanted it to be, the story is a cohesive work of told from the point of view of kind of the narrator, the narrative of what's going on, right? But also, it's the story. It's the beginning of the story of Phillip Brandon, the artist, the guy who stepped aside, stepped away from the acting, and everything else that he's done, and think, hey, this is who he is as the musical artist. So it's it's one of those things that it kind of played both. Both fields there. It was like, okay, well, there's the story of Phillip Brandon, and this is also the story of, hope. I always say that The Story Begins is a journey of hope navigated in love. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's so many great songs on here, and of course our partner is Amazon.com, but our audience can get it on other online retailers as well. There are songs like Mystic Blue that I think people will really enjoy. Stay in the Moment is another one of those songs. I bring up these and then Best of You, and then we're going to hear Come On a little bit later. I bring this up because one thing that I think is very clear in this project, and I want to ask you, and that's kind of was part of the setup, Phillip, to me asking you about your own artistic voice, was that I think you're an artist that people cannot just put in a box. Is that something that you also are proud of? That that there are so many musical influences that are inside of you that it comes out in different ways in your music.
Absolutely, I think that now. Like I said, there's definitely a foundation of music there, but another group that I've been privileged to be able to tour with for the past 8 years has been the rock group, multi-platinum rock group Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is a rock group, right? So there's elements of that we're all, I love being a sponge of all different things that speak to me. So it's one of those things of I think it would be definitely safe to say that I'm not particularly in one particular box, and it's something that I am pretty proud of, because I've been able to find my sound that definitely articulates all the different things that I've been inspired by.
Right. Yeah. Which leads us then to the single, Come On. That is the song that you actually have the official music video out. We're going to talk about that video, actually, as we hear the song. Phillip, but how did Come On come about?
Come On I'm always a big proponent of the collective being better. When you do it together, when you do things together, the results can be so much greater, right? So it's kind of one of those things of saying, hey, it does take a village to raise a child. There are so many great things that we can accomplish if we just come on and do it together. Let's go down this journey, like everyone, let's say go in a positive light, and let's just, put all of our creative juices together, and let's just get to that next level. We can all do it together. So that's the premise of the song.
For sure. Well, for those who have not had a chance to hear it, here is Come On by recording artist Phillip Brandon from his project The Story Begins. We'll be back with our final moments with Phillip right after this, so stay with us.
Sorry, I have something to tell you, but I haven't got the tact to care. Lonely is the way I feel about it when I decide I don't want to share. How do I make you see beneath the surface is a bed of lies? When will you come with me? Assuming we know nothing makes us wise.
Come on,
together,
no matter
the weather
will make us
all better if we do it.
Come on,
together,
no matter
the weather
will make us
all better
if we do it.
Regrets are excuses made of candy, making failure taste so good and sweet. Never will I just sit and watch a film about a world that beats you down and then puts it on repeat. How do I help you, please? Pull back the blanket and unveil the disguise. Right this way, come with me. After we do better comes the surprise.
Come on,
Together,
no matter
the weather
will make us
all better if we do it.
Come on,
Together,
no matter
the weather
will make us
all better
if we do it.
That again was Come On by recording artist Phillip Brandon. From the project The Story Begins, we've been talking with Phillip not only about the musical journey he's been on, but also this new project, what it's been like for him to share with all of you, as well as his own artistic voice. Speaking of your own artistic voice, Phillip, I mentioned the video earlier for the single Come On. 3 things I noticed about the video that I want to talk to you about. One is I love the fact that we're kind of able to see you in your various elements, in the studio, on the stage, and just kind of enjoying life. Was that part of what you wanted to be able to convey in the video?
Absolutely. I wanted to, I wanted to show all the elements of kind of who I am as a person, as an artist. There are definitely different elements of that go into it. I just really enjoy, I like to enjoy the journey, right? Because I believe that if you don't necessarily enjoy the journey, the destination can be a bit anticlimactic. So it's like, come on, let's just enjoy this bad boy, and as we're going through it.
Right. The second thing I wanted to mention was, of course, being up on stage. I mean, I have, for those who are joining us on the radio dial, Phillip, before your segment, we were actually speaking with Cassandra Lucas from the group Changing Faces, and we were talking with her about her new project and what it's been like for her being out on that stage, sharing her music now live, and that energy, the exchange of energy she's been feeling. What is that experience like for you to be up on that stage? We kind of get a glimpse of that in the video Come On, but what is that experience like for you?
It's amazing, man. We got a chance to do the for our album release show we did in LA last month. We got a chance to do the entire album live from start to finish in the order of the album. And that's just something that's not always done because of whatever the case may be. And the reception we got from it was just mind-boggling, man. It was like, man, people are really enjoying this, or even things that I didn't necessarily know that people would have enjoyed, a certain part of a song, or, this, that, and the third, or somebody's throwing their hands up over here because they're like, oh, I love that part there. So, man, it was amazing to see that go down. And so I'm so excited to be able to continue to do that.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to the third thing, and that is the response. Because, of course, we normally talk a lot about fear on this program. I've been doing that a lot this year as I've been doing new things with our program here on the radio, Phillip, as well as on our other affiliates. But I'm not going to talk to you about fear necessarily, but I do want to talk to you about doing something that you love and then putting it out to the world, knowing the way the world can be, especially in the way of social media is today, the way that people are very vocal, to say the least, I think, to be polite about it. What was interesting to me about the responses to the Come On video, I wanted to share 3 of them that really struck to me. One was from an individual named David, who says, "You're a new artist to me, love the tune, very nice and classy." You had another comment from someone named Lynn that said, "I love Phillip Brandon's voice. I have a feeling good things are ahead." And then the third one I want to bring up is one that the individual named Samuel said, "This will be one of the most popular collections now until next year and beyond." So when you take the leap and you do something that you love, as you've been able to do with The Story Begins, and now release it, when you hear comments like that or read comments like that, Phillip, do you feel as though you achieved exactly what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, man, wow, that's a great question, man. I think that art, though subjective in and of itself, is meant to be judged, right? It's kind of that's the whole premise of it. It's you release something out there to see how it speaks to someone. It's going to speak to someone either way. And so for me to be able to release something that is, again, a true passion project, and to have responses like that, it is, again, it is surreal, but it's like, wow, that this is, and that's from 3 folks who I have not gotten a chance to meet yet. So I just am so excited to hear how other people receive it, because it's been I got a comment from in our my the web email that someone's like, "Hey, are you going to release this on vinyl? This is the best album that I've heard." This is just like, I am very humbled by it, and just amazed because I'm literally going through this journey like a kid in a candy store because it's like, wow, that's great. That's amazing to me. You like this, or you were touched by this in some kind of way. So, we're definitely on track to doing what it is I set out to do.
For sure. What a great thing. So as you are looking forward, Phillip, and this journey continues for you for sure, the story is definitely not over. This is only the beginning, and there's only going to be more great things coming. What is your hope moving forward as you kind of continue to share your musical voice? What do you hope when people hear the name Phillip Brandon, what do you want them to think about?
I want them to think about light. I want them to think about when you hear Phillip Brandon, I want you to think positive, great vibes, energy, and a great time. One of the things, again, in addition to writing about hope and there being, the light at the end of the tunnel, is that, I just want you to feel good as well. Like for me, if it has to feel good. I love a good groove, so I want that to be something that they associate with Phillip Brandon as well.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure that they definitely will. Again, everyone, recording artist Phillip Brandon has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Phillip. He's celebrating his project called The Story Begins. As I mentioned, it is available through our friends at Amazon.com, or you can get it through your favorite online retailer. If for whatever reason it's not Amazon, they have it on the other places as well. And Phillip, how can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with what's coming up next for you, man?
So they can definitely go to my website and sign up for the newsletter. That's phillipbrandon.com. That's PhillipBrandon.com. Also on all social media with the handle at Phillip Brandon and the number 2. So that's at PhillipBrandon 2.
Got you. So make sure you're definitely staying connected with Phillip. Phillip, congratulations to you, man, on an amazing year. Looking forward to seeing what you have in store for 2018. And it goes without saying, man, you're welcome back here anytime.
Thank you so much, Cyrus. I truly appreciate it. Great time.
Hey, appreciate you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with Phillip, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site, so head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.